The lost civilization that was more advanced than Rome. You think you know the ancient world, Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, the usual suspects. But there was another civilization, one that had running water in every home, grid-planned cities, and standardized weights and measures. All of it more than 1,000 years before Rome existed. And almost nobody talks about it. This is the Indus Valley Civilization, and it might be the most underrated culture in all of human history. Around 3000 BCE, while most of the world was still figuring out agriculture, something extraordinary was happening in what is now Pakistan and northwest India. Cities were being built, not villages, not camps, cities, with straight streets, with drainage systems, with public baths, with indoor plumbing. Let that sink in, indoor plumbing. In 3000 BCE, the two largest cities were Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. At their peak, each housed between 40,000 and 80,000 people. For comparison, Rome did not reach that population for another 2,000 years. These were not small settlements. These were metropolises. Archaeologist John Marshall was the first to seriously excavate these sites in the 1920s. What he found stunned the academic world. The streets were laid out in a near-perfect grid, like Manhattan, but ancient. Each block had its own drainage channel. Wastewater flowed through covered brick sewers beneath the streets. Homes had private wells, and bathrooms connected directly to the municipal system. No other civilization on Earth had this level of urban infrastructure at that time. Not Egypt, not Mesopotamia, not China, nobody. And here is the part that makes historians genuinely uneasy. We still cannot read their writing. The Indus script, thousands of inscriptions found on seals, tablets, and pottery, has never been deciphered. We do not know what they called themselves. We do not know their kings, their goods, their laws. An entire civilization speaks to us through objects, and we cannot hear the words. What we do know is remarkable. They traded with Mesopotamia. Indus Valley artifacts have been found in ancient Sumerian cities. They had a standardized system of weights so precise that modern researchers using digital scales have confirmed the measurements are accurate to within 1%. 1%, 4,000 years ago, without calculators, without computers, without anything we would recognize as technology. Researcher Shireen Ratnagar spent decades studying their trade networks and concluded that the Indus Valley merchants were operating a commercial system of extraordinary sophistication, one that spanned thousands of kilometers across Central Asia and the Persian Gulf. And then, around 1900 BCE, it began to collapse. Not with a bang, not with conquest. It faded. People left the cities. The great urban centers were abandoned. The population dispersed into smaller villages. Within a few centuries, one of the most advanced civilizations on Earth had simply dissolved. Climate change is the leading theory. Research by geologist Liviu Giosin and his team in 2012 showed that the monsoon patterns that fed the rivers sustaining these cities shifted dramatically around that period. The rivers dried up. The agriculture failed. The cities became unsustainable. They did not fall to an army. They were not destroyed by plague or fire. The world around them simply changed, and they could not adapt fast enough. Here is what stays with you. This civilization existed for over 700 years at its peak. That is longer than the entire history of the United States. Twice over, they built something extraordinary. They solved problems that other cultures would not solve for millennia. And then they disappeared so completely that we forgot they ever existed. Until a railway construction crew in the 1850s started digging up ancient bricks and accidentally uncovered one of the greatest mysteries in human history. You thought you knew the ancient world. You did not even know its most advanced chapter.